Well, hot damn! Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And welcome to the podcast where we cover the most out-of-this-world animated comedy this side of Rick and Morty. It's the Solar Opposites Recap Podcast. Woo! All right, now, folks, this is a podcast that Dragon, I would say this is basically a fan appreciation podcast. Would you say so?
Pretty much. We probably would have mentioned it on, Memoirs, but outside of that, dedicating a whole podcast to it, absolutely, yeah, probably in that kind of fan appreciation vein, yeah.
So one of the fans that we've really grown to appreciate over the year or so that he's been following the channel, Mr. Claude Coringa there. Give it up for Claudie. Claude! Hopefully he shows up. I announced it on Twitter, but then again, I am running a little late. So maybe that's him. So yeah, we're dedicating this podcast to Claude just because he kept asking about it. Just solar opposites? You guys doing solar opposites? You guys going to do solar opposites? And I'm like, all right, but Claude, you're a great fan. You're very dedicated to coming on and commenting, and I love having you on the live shows. So we're going to do it for you, just for you, buddy. Solar Opposites, have no idea how many other people who are subscribed to the channel are going to get a kick out of this podcast, but we're doing it for you, Claude. Anyway, so Solar Opposites, Dragon. I got to say, this is one that wasn't really on my radar. Because honestly, Dragon, I don't really follow adult animated shows all that much. I'm more into the Disney XD and not Disney XD. XD doesn't exist anymore. But I digress. I'm more into the DuckTales of it all. But of course, Rick and Morty being one of the only adult animated shows that I follow.
Well, and BoJack Horseman and Big Mouth and so on and Tiki. There's kind of a lot of them when you really think about it. So.
Okay, well, Big Mouth is just, God, don't even bring up Big Mouth, man.
You're opening yourself to a lot of scrutiny here with that statement. I'm just putting it all in context for you.
Okay, BoJack Horseman is an exception. BoJack Horseman is an exception for sure.
There's Rick and Morty.
I'm not a fan of the Fox animated stuff, Dragon. That's really what I'm getting at. And Solar Opposites to me had the vein. It had the feel on surface level of a Fox animated sitcom, part of like that whole like generic like animation domination. Like, hey, guess what? It's a wacky family sitcom, except this time they're aliens. Well, I gotta tell you, I was pleasantly surprised by this thing. I binged it all in one sitting, as I tend to do with these things, these short chunk things. And I gotta tell you, Dragon, this is it's not perfect. There's definitely some speed bumps, but I liked it quite a bit. I think episode 7 in particular, I hope you agree with me, but I thought episode 7 was amazing. And generally speaking, I liked the cast. I liked the concept. It was a lot more high concept in terms of the sci-fi than I was expecting for a show that has such a generic title. And, and I got to admit, I'm still not really a fan of the style, Dragon. I'm not really a fan of the designs of these characters. They're just pretty generic looking. I don't know, like they look like the big heads from Rocko's Modern Life, if anything. They're weird looking. I don't know. It's not that the aesthetic is ugly. It's just not really all that memorable. They're kind of bland. But Dragon, the writing behind the show, especially the wall subplot, that's what really got me. I honestly was more compelled by the wall subplot than I was by the regular story by the end of the season. But outside of, I would say, a really, really cheap ending for the season, I was pretty satisfied with this. I thought it was really fun to watch from top to bottom. Anyways, Dragon, before you get your thoughts in, let's bring in Claude here. Solar Opposites is like Rick and Morty, but a little calmer. Are you guys going to check out Close Enough? Oh boy, here's another one. Claude, I like I said, Dragon, this is just this is proof in the pudding that I do not follow adult animated news. Like, I don't follow the development of adult animated shows. Once I hear of an adult animated show that I am into, that people are into, that's getting a lot of groundswell, then I'll look into it. But generally speaking, so Claude, I have not heard about Close Enough. Anyways, Dragon, I'm gonna pass the buck to you. What are your thoughts on Solar Opposite Season 1?
Let's see. So, of course, Solar Opposites, kind of the brainchild of Justin Roiland and Mike McMahon, and it's already gotten approved for season 2. I don't know if you knew that already. It's already kind of they announced it by the end of the season, so you can probably fill in the blanks there. But absolutely got approved for it. It's not just like a cliffhanger for the sake of cliffhangers. They knew they were coming back for a second half. Show much like Rick and Morty. I'm not 100% sold on it. It's not 100% sell out the gate, but I really applaud the solid storytelling. Things got really solid storytelling, especially as it goes on. Of course, by the time we get to 7, proof in the pudding.
Yeah, episode 7, I think you and I can both agree, is the standout of the season.
It's like, again, like a little bit like Rick and Morty. It's like, Rick and Morty, I've gotten to a groove with it, where, again, there's things I like about Rick and Morty. I can watch the show just for those things, and I can appreciate kind of the fan base, and I can appreciate just kind of the work that goes into it. Like, I appreciate more than some of your other adult animated shows. Something really went right with Rick and Morty. They're having fun with it. Like they're not just they're not just slacking off like current day Family Guy. It's not nothing like that. Like they're still like kind of in their prime sort of right now. And of course, there's kind of fielding some ideas, seeing what sticks to the wall, getting creative with the carte blanche they have, and kind of have a little bit of that here with the Hulu carte blanche. Like they were allowed to go wild based on the success of Rick and Morty, Roiland was. And I feel what we're getting into a little bit more here is kind of the Roiland character comedy, where, of course, you break down kind of the Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland of it all. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of mixtures within kind of the chemical makeup of Rick and Morty. But with Roiland, it feels like he obviously, big element of Rick and Morty is the improvisational element, which very much comes from Roiland.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, being both title characters in Rick and Morty, it's also going to be a lot of Roiland, and there are a lot of character bases, and I imagine it's kind of like where he starts, and he kind of runs with it for the show. And I mean, last thing broadly is that this is the show to me, especially in the beginning. I think it gets away from this as it goes on, which won me over, is that it's a little too cynical and gory in places, especially towards the beginning, and that was kind of a turnoff for me. It's like I saw the first episode. And I was like, after hearing about it, and of course, Claudia bringing it, I was like, I'm going to check out the first episode of this thing. I was like, I wasn't compelled to go back for it, but then we kind of figured out we're probably going to go back for it anyway. So yesterday, I binged it all while you binged it all today. And, I basically binged the remainder of 2 through 8. And, watching it again, there's kind of an improvement there. It gets a little less cynical. I mean, it's not just gory for the sake of gory and sci-fi. It gets a little bit more purposed as it goes on, and again, I do. It is fun seeing Roiland's take on the suburban sitcom. That's kind of the really fun element of it all. As Claude said here, it is like Rick and Morty, just a little bit calmer. Of course, Rick and Morty, you have the sci-fi and you have the suburbia, and of course, Rick and Morty, many a time the suburbia doesn't cut the mustard, but the sci-fi knocks it out of the ballpark. Here, nothing against the sci-fi, but I'm saying I think the suburbia is really good. It is really building itself up here. The suburbia is kind of the fun for me with this one. So it's kind of a nice opposite side of the coin in many respects.
I do think the sci-fi elements of the show are strong, particularly the wall.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I can't just do the opposite argument on that, despite the title.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's just get into it. Solar Opposites made several Hulu jokes along the way.
The meta humor is quite fun. I guess you talk about the opening. Was it in the intro?
It's a little bit more. It's a little bit more restrained than Rick and Morty, though.
Yeah,
because I feel like Rick and Morty is just constantly breaking the fourth wall, and where this one, I feel like the characters kind of tap dance around the fourth wall.
Well, they didn't try to sell you a story train. So, there's that.
Right, exactly. Oh, God. You must buy merch, Morty.
Consumerism, Morty. All
right. All right. So, folks, we're going to just go through each individual episode, and that's how we'll do it. All right. Episode 1, The Matter Transfer Array. Dragon, do you want to just take a minute to just go through the individual characters really quick, just to kind of get a groove going? Okay.
Oh yeah, of course. The first one, I figured we were going to do that anyway. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll start with Corvo, of course, Justin Roiland's character. Dragon, I gotta tell you, I was really impressed by how much Roiland was able to incorporate his usual shtick and still make Corvo out to be a character where it's not just another Rick. You know what I mean?
I know. That's what I'm saying. My favorite dynamic, my favorite two characters in the whole thing are Corvo and Terry. Bear in mind, I'm from the school of thought. I love the Odd Couple, so I love kind of the contrasting personalities, and I just love the fact these guys are kind of like they're the pair and kind of the patriarchs of the little family, and of course, Corvo being the very straight laced, just like we got to get home, we got to fix the ship. It's like it doesn't have like kind of the whole kind of nihilistic thing that Rick does. He doesn't have that, but Corvo is he's just very he's very clenched. He's very uptight. He wants to fix the ship and get out of there. It's like, what if Alf wasn't lazing around the whole show? It's like, what if Alf actually tried to go home? That's kind of what you have with Corvo. And Terry, on the other hand, he's the fun slacker. He's the Oscar Madison, but he's Oscar Madison, but peppy as all get out. What if you took? Mm-hmm. What if you switched up the Odd Couple a little bit? What if someone was peppy and nice like Felix Hunger, but was not so much the more clever of the bunch?
Right. So yeah, I think these two do have a really good dynamic with each other. Generally speaking, I hate to say it, but I think one of the weak points of the show is it's not that I don't like the other two main characters, but I just think pretty much every episode, with little exception, I'm more invested in the Corvo and Terry storyline.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you there too. You know why? I'm going to tell you why, Tiki. Here's why.
Oh God, okay. You sound very opinionated here.
In animation, it seems, especially in adult animation, it's always been kind of the downfall of the animated shows. It's always the uphill battle of writing, the old played out teenage, kind of the stories directed at the kids in school. Because again, especially if you look at Meg on Family Guy, again, it's kind of the whole story there, where again Meg is the way she is, and she's the punchline to that show because they had no idea what to do with her. And basically that evolved to a point where it's just like it's up to ridiculous angles when they run out of ideas and push beyond that as they go on. But even in the early seasons when it was good, it's like, okay, well, Meg's the butt of the joke. And again, they can make that for a few laughs, but again, they run out of ideas. You look at Steve on American Dad, better character, but still, we can only recycle the same story so many times. And by the time we get here, again, we have kind of the foreigner element to these characters where, again, everyone hates them. It's kind of very prejudiced kind of environment for aliens. But again, there's only so much you can do with them without really growing them, and that defeats the purpose of why are they young characters if they're going to grow? That's kind of the logic, I guess, in the writers' room for adult animated shows. It's just it's an uphill battle, but I absolutely hear what you're saying on that, Teak. I don't know. It's just something that even the best of writers we have cannot crack quite yet. Animation.
I will say that by the end of the season, I grow to like the characters a little bit more and their dynamic. I think there's something there that we can tap into going forward.
So, by the way, the kids, Yumulak, of course, I love his actor. He's on the Goldbergs. It's Sean Gambroni. He plays Yumulak. Of course, he little few roles in Harley Quinn, the new animated show that Tiki should be watching. And
I know, dude. I'm working now. I have an excuse. I only spent 3 months in isolation. I'm a working man now. All right.
Tiki's got his big boy pants on, folks. He's wearing his big boy pants
for 6 hours a week. I'm up to 6 hours a week. It's great.
All right.
It's great. It's normal.
Okay, the point being, I like Gambroni here. And of course, we've said a thing you can relate to. He's been on Big Hero 6. He's played Richardson Mole. That guy. I like this kid. Anyway,
sure.
He's an interesting character. So the thing we don't do enough of with the kids is the kid's a trained bounty hunter, but we only do so much with that. That's that's kind of a problem. And the girls.
That's what I'm saying with the untapped potential here. I feel like Jessie is my least favorite of the four.
I know.
Like she's she's kind of just a wannabe Kristen Shaw, frankly.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nothing against the voice actress, of course. I'm not saying the voice actress is a wannabe Kristen Shaw. I'm saying that the character is written to be like a wannabe kind of like Kristen Shaw, like Mabel Pines type. I don't know. I don't even know how to place it. It's just there's nothing really that ever jumped out to me about Jessie. But Yumulak, on the other hand, I think he started out in sort of just the angsty teenager role, but as the season went along, which we'll kind of discuss, I think he got progressively more interesting. So,
yep.
All right.
Okay. A few things.
And then of course we have the we have to bring up. Well, let's just bring up the basic premise with the pupa and
pupa.
Or the pupa. Pupa.
It's the pupa. Yeah. You can trust me. It's like the fly state. It goes from a pupa to just go with me on its pupa.
All right. The pupa. the pupa, and then how they crash their ship and everything. Dragon, just what's the basic sell of the show? Basically, pitch the opening sequence.
Okay. Well, just the whole reason they're on the Earth is that they're on the Earth for a year. Their planet exploded. Very much a lot of Alf, again, with the whole suburban kind of sitcom premise. It's very much like Alf, where Alf, his home planet blew up and he's kind of crashed on Earth. Essentially, in this show, when the planet blew up, at least 100 survivors got out there. Essentially, 100 potential family units like our guys here. Essentially, they have I forget if it's like clones of themselves or what. The point being, the kids are their kids, but it's like stemmed from their DNA or something. The point being, you have these 100 little families. They all went to planets scattered around the cosmos. These guys landed on Earth. The idea is the pupa is going to terraform the planet. It's going to kill all life and terraform the planet. The idea is like when they get their ship fixed, they're going to get off the planet. Pupa's going to fix things for them. They're going to have a new home planet. They just re-land on the thing. That's the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Again, they have it's a ticking clock. So when this pupa starts the process, they'll die.
It's insane. It's like Maggie Simpson on steroids.
Pretty much.
Like Maggie Simpson was always kind of alluded to, she shot Mr. Burns, and she always kind of had a sadistic kind of side to her. But now it's like, no, folks, we've got a cute, adorable baby character who's literally gonna kill all living life on Earth. Isn't that adorable?
What if Maggie was a literal ticking clock, pretty much? And also, Claude says here, and we got to talk about this. I love in the opening as well. I love Justin Roiland's rants, as Claude's saying here. He loves the Roiland rants in the theme. In the whole introduction. Basically, the idea is he improvised at the very end of it. So my favorite bit of the whole show, I got to be honest, this little bit, is love. That's me. It's Cora. I'm the one who's been talking all the time. Look at me holding the pupa. Oh, I just dropped the pupa.
Wait a minute. Okay, so I've been skipping the intros the whole time. Have I been missing improv?
Yes.
Oh, God damn it. I need to go back and watch all that then.
So basically, after he says, that's me, I just dropped the pupa, I hate Earth. After he says, I hate Earth, then he improvises a new reason each episode why he hates the Earth. It's like a fun rant. And
oh, God. Oh, no. I missed all that. Oh, God.
That's what you get.
Oh, man. Jesus, I need to go back and check all that out.
The point being, it's kind of something fun in each episode. But again, I just love the whole. I just dropped the pupa. I just love the way he talks as this character. I don't know why. It's just something really fun and just
Well, it's Rick-esque. But I don't. He is very much more using the Rick voice. He's very much going away from Morty, which is great.
What if Rick cared? That's the thing. This character cares. Rick does not care, only about very small things that's going to pop up for the sake of the episode, one singular thing. In this case, this guy's one singular focus that he cares very much about, and everything else is a path of getting there. So this guy's very singular focus, but he does care about things.
So let's transition that into the episode, Dragon, into episode 1. The thing that Corvo cares about in this episode that he gets incredibly invested in is, Dragon, what is it?
Fun bucket.
God, Dragon, that's what I'm saying, Dragon. Hearing the Rick voice basically get all fixated on fun bucket, Terry. We have to find this fun bucket.
Yeah. So this is what I love, and this is the dynamic I'm loving here. So again, Terry, he's acclimated to Earth so well, and the year they spent on there, the other guys have just been really focused on trying to get the spaceship fixed, which obviously he's out of his gourd. He's not going to be able to fix that thing. If he hasn't fixed it in a year, I don't know what he's doing wrong. Let's be honest. But anyway, the fact of the matter is, I love that Terry's just kind of chilling out and he's just kind of watching the TV, and basically he's putting on Fun Bucket, which essentially is kind of an Alf-esque show. Their other comparisons are probably better, but we have a montage that's exactly like Alf, and again, they have to be aware. It's got to
be Alf, man, because the whole plot of the show is like an Alf riff.
That's what I'm saying, because the whole we're just kind of stuck on the Earth. The only difference is they're not hiding like Alf did. That's the difference. Anyway,
right.
So, point being, you have this very Alf-like montage with the saxophone. That's how you know it's Alf, because they're playing the saxophone during the whole montage, and having fun with the Fun Bucket little thing that they created. So basically, it's just he's fixating on the show, and basically he's he binges Fun Bucket with Terry, and becomes a super fan. They go and meet him at a mall, and they realize it's not real, so they make a real Fun Bucket.
Oh boy.
Under the assumption that Fun Bucket is a real character, and that Fun Bucket actually is into sciencey adventures with a kid in his basement, and just a fun-loving kind of guy too, with a catchphrase. Bingo,
and you know
bingo.
what? It starts out that way.
It does, but then things take a turn.
So this is what I'm saying, Dragon. I think I enjoyed this episode a little bit more than you did. I wasn't over the moon about it, but what I did like about it was the hard sci-fi of it's got that Rick of Morty kind of groove to it. I don't know why, Dragon. For some reason, I'm this podcast. I'm kind of like doing a lot of association with this show being like a jazz riff on Rick and Morty. It's like it's different, but it's playing by the same instruments. It's playing the same instruments, but playing a different tune. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, I really like the the hard sci-fi of what if this thing, this cartoon creature that they just created for their own amusement, became sentient to the fact that he was created for his own amusement. I mean, it is a heavy idea, Dragon. I like that right off the bat. We're getting into the hard Rick and Morty sci-fi of it all.
Yeah, and speaking of the sci-fi, so one we have like essentially Fun Bucket eventually turns into kind of this Akira fusion of a Fun Bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of fuse like these two horribly genetically created Fun Buckets into one giant horrifying monster and that's where we get into the gory stuff for me. It was like, yeah, okay, come on, guys. Episode 1, we're doing this, man, come on. But again, it gets more palatable over time, and they shake it up instead of just being just horror for the sake of kind of sci-fi horror. But we do other
stuff. It is gory, but I don't think any of it reaches the levels of like Pickle Rick gory.
That's what I'm saying. That's a weird line that we're striking here, where again I feel Pickle Rick was kind of like something that was built up to, and again
Pickle Rick was over the line. Pickle Rick was over the line, in my opinion. I hate to be a prude about it, but I'll always say it. Pickle Rick wasn't enjoyable for me.
I don't understand. Well, again, we don't want to deconstruct Pickle Rick right now. We don't have time for that. But
yeah, anyways.
My point is let me lay this out for you. So, of course, with kids, we do the shrinking thing. We shrink the bully, which is quite a fun idea. We shrink the bully, and like, what ramifications are we in for now? And basically, I had an epiphany about the show. Or basically, the show to me is a little bit more of it's almost a more palatable version of the cynical edge. Basically, it's kind of more palatable cynical edge than something like Invader Zim. Where Invader Zim, for me, was hard. Sure. With Invader Zim, the turnoff for me was always that humanity just seems so horrible, and there's never going to be like kind of a bright spot in the day because humanity just gave up and didn't care. Where it's like, again, if I can't identify with humanity, I can't really identify with the show. I know that's the point of it when you're sympathizing with the alien who's trying to take over the world, but still, it's like, what kind of world does he want, though? That's what I'm saying. Why would he want this world, looking at how horrible all these people are?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. But here, though, what we kind of do over time and do here is that, again, we're taking some fun pokes at the status quo. Like, there's growth in an unconventional way. Like, there's still hope and there's still growth and there's still a little bit of heart, where essentially the end lesson is, the parents giving the old speech to the kids here about shrinking, where they kind of realize, our story's kind of parallel here. Where, like, you can't just act on emotion. You can't force people to do what you want. And again, like that little moment, that's where things kind of start to signify there, versus like Invader Zim, where, okay, we reset the dark status quo where no one cares. Where in this case, our characters grow a little bit. Of course, they're still doing some horrific things, but you know what? They're kind of learning a little something along the way, and humanity is not a terrible place. It's just, I'll admit the school system's not benefiting much from this, but outside the school system, everything seems quite civil. That's the thing.
Yeah. All right. To be honest with you, Dragon, I already forgot what the subplot of the teens was.
Oh, you mean of the teenage characters?
Yeah.
Basically, they lobotomize the bully girl.
Yeah, right. That, sure.
Of course, they do. They're pouring like the Diet Coke in her head, and it's like, oh. It's like, what if you took what if you took kind of the razzle dazzle out of that scene from Hannibal? That's kind of what it is. What if you took kind of like kind of the elegant horror out of that situation? It's like, oh, guys, it's just regular kind of like kind of Eli Roth horror right now. It's like pouring it in the brain.
Oh. Dragon, do we get introduced to the wall in episode 1? Because I'm dying to talk about the wall.
Okay, so remember, to build to the wall, like each episode incrementally, we get some more walls. Basically, we have this hilarious gag with the janitor at the end. This is what I'm talking about. This defeats the Invader Zim potential they could have gone into here, where we have the janitor basically calling him out, like, wait a minute, did you lobotomize this girl and pour Diet Coke in her? Basically, it's completely he's calling out the improper moral of the thing here. Where essentially, we got to maintain the status quo at all costs, even like shrinking people. So they shrink the janitor and say, okay, it's okay to shrink adults, just not kids. And of course, that's covering their bases later on, because it'd be horrible to put kids through this situation. But adults, though, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the janitor is shrunken. He's put in kind of this like little wall terrarium thing. It's like basically behind like a hidden shelf in the kids' room. You have this. It's like one of those fancy hamster cages. You have like a giant like tubing system or something.
Oh yeah.
Bunch of interconnecting.
I mean, I've said it before in this podcast, but this is hands down my favorite thing in the whole show is the wall. I'm in love with this concept. This is easily the thing that hooked me on the show.
Oh yeah. Here's the thing. At first, I thought it was just I didn't know we were going to go back to the wall at all, or at least not in a significant way. I didn't know story-wise after this episode.
Right. I didn't either. But knowing where we go with it, I'm in love with it.
I'll admit, yeah. Again, if I just stopped the show, now I would have missed out big time. Okay, so that brings us to episode 2, The Unstable Gray Hole.
Right, episode 2. Okay, what's going on in this episode?
Particular gray hole.
What did I say? Oh, green hole. Okay, hold on. My bad.
Okay.
My bad.
That's fine. It's fine.
My bad. I misread it. Okay, so do the setup.
Anyway, so the unstable gray hole. This essentially is we're taking a very, and this is a good episode they're kind of taking from. It's like an American Dad episode that was had where basically in that episode Stan thinks the neighbors don't like him. He overhears them. He eavesdrops on the neighbors and he hears that they don't like him, so he's trying to correct that problem. And this episode is one of my favorites. I got to be honest. I really love the premise of this one for the whole Terry and Corvo of it all here. I love they're basically trying to.
It is one of the better Terry and Corvo episodes, just in terms of their dynamic, for sure.
Again, I love the mundane struggle and the mundane arguments. This is my favorite element of the show. I mean, Thomas Middleditch, of course, I love that. That guy's great. I love Thomas Middleditch. He's fun. And of course, like apparently, Claude pointed out earlier that apparently Roiland was probably going to do both voices. Then you got Tom Middleditch in there, and he did a great job.
Yeah, and I think that really worked to spice up the show because I assume that if Roiland would have been on there, he would have probably done a riff on his Morty voice. I'm not saying it would have been exactly the same as Morty, but I'm saying, much like Corvo, it would have been a riff. So I think having Thomas Middleditch on there really does set the stage for, a broader cast than Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's see. That's what I love the rants and like all these Roiland kind of very mundane rants and like arguments about like don't give the pupa candy. Stop giving the pupa candy. How's it getting like the whole argument? How's the pupa getting candy? Of course, we reveal this through the course of the episode, like the long extensive way the pupa gets the candy.
What do you think of these subplots with the pupa throughout the season, Dragon?
I think some are a little more interesting than others, but I don't think we need them at the end of the day at all. I mean,
I don't either, to tell you the truth. They're not one of my favorite parts of the show.
We could easily lose them, but I mean, there's like a little bit of charm, like in the later one we get, where there's like a couple cute bits, but we don't need it at all.
I mean, there's some bits like in terms of kind of calling to mind like silent comedy that I like.
The only one we need is the one at the very end of the season. That's the only one we really need.
Sure. So,
of course, they're battling the homeowners association rules, but you have to paint your ship to match the rest of the houses. Like screw that.
The homeowners association meeting was my favorite moment of the episode, Dragon. That was I love how that whole thing resolved itself.
So my fondness for gadgetry, and again, the show does have some really cool sci-fi gadgets, and I got to tell you,
it does. Yeah, I
love the nanobots. God help me, I love the nanobots, and I love the Nano Man. The Nano Man is probably my favorite thing from the season.
Nano Man.
I love Alan.
I love how humble and just down to earth this nanobot man is.
Of course, Nano Man, voiced by the exceptional Alan Tudyk, he's just tearing it up these days. Not only is he popping up like the new John Ratzenberg and all the Disney movies, he's doing that. He's Joker in he's Joker and Clayface, a whole bunch of characters in the Harley Quinn animated show. He's in Big Hero 6. Alan Tudyk's just tearing it up right now, man. The man's he's astonishing, and he's fantastic as this Nano Man. There's the civil proponent who essentially just a little backstory on the nanobots here. This is why he's so great. So. I love that our guys go to the water treatment plant. They're taking like the long drawn out way of finding out about their neighbors. So they take these nanobots, they put it in the water. So basically, as people drink the water and they produce it through their body, they'll then recollect and collect all the information from inside people's bodies, their thoughts, their feelings, their minds. It's just crazy, and they get away with this because of their buddy at the water treatment plant, Gordon.
Yeah, Gordon was kind of a fun one-off character.
Eddie was. And
Dragon, I want to mention something about that too, and it's a trope that I feel this show smartly gets away from, and that trope is just like the goofy side character or the wacky neighbor. You know what I mean? And I feel like the show kind of introduces a number of characters that could fit that mold, but they don't. None of them outweigh their welcome.
Yeah.
You know, am I making sense? Because that's one of the things that I was honestly, all of the Fox animated shows. That's one of the things I dislike about the Fox animated shows. It's like, you know, like the Cleveland show. It's like, oh, his friend's a bear. You know, Brickleberry. Oh, look, it's a little cub. You know, or you know what I mean?
I should also probably point out, Tiki, you know, this is kind of a Fox show. I mean, it's Fox released through Hulu, so just
no, I understand it's a Fox show. I understand it's a Fox show. I'm just saying it's refreshing that it avoids those tropes, Dragon.
You're right, and that's the thing. You're absolutely right. No one's overstaying their welcome, and what's happening here is that, again, we don't have any built-in neighbor characters. This guy shows up for a very designated role for the plot. He's quite pleasant, and again, it feeds in the nanobot thing, so we're all good.
Yeah. It's I love the clump. I'm saying the attention is where it should be.
I love the clump payoff. The payoff that, like, if these things clump together, they'll gain sentience, and I love that, of course. What happens? They clump together, form sentience. It's Alan Tudyk.
And it's the most sentient clump since Bubble Buddy Dragon. It's the most pleasant clump.
Yes.
It very much does have kind of like a Bubble Buddy charm to it, Dragon.
I love, so basically we get into like after things turn around for our guys here, they then run for they run for an election, basically become the new homeowner president. They're running against Ruth, and of course I love the logical thing here with Ruth is that the sad truth about some old people, folks, I hate to break it to you, sad truth, some old folks, they do just it's the most biting yet true line in the whole thing for me. They couldn't get any information on Ruth, again, like just basically put in the water supply because she just drinks Coke and doesn't shower.
God.
Again, sad truth, I hate to say. Thankfully not in all cases, but some old folks. It ain't pretty. Okay.
Can I just say I love the design of Ruth?
Yeah.
It's very Anaqua-esque. You know, kind of just like the old, like, hunched over, sort of like, you know, the scale of it. I like her scale.
Look how unfettered she was, just like F-bomb this. Like, I just want to get back to the effing good old days, you know? It's just for all this sci-fi crap.
And Dragon, you know what? I would vote for her. I would vote for her in that situation.
I don't know, I'd probably vote for Tudyk.
Yeah, you know what? Tudyk is it's hard to deny Tudyk. I'll give you that.
I mean, he had a lot of really good points. Bear in mind, it was horrific what he did to that lady's eyes, but he did give her sight, though. So it's kind of a column A, column B on that. Sight, really out there sci-fi procedure. And also, speaking of which, I love the montage before the Nano Man came into play, using the information. Winning points over the neighbors and everything, which got us to the election. I love the montage of them trying to get everybody to like him plan. The whole gave the man legs, robo legs, which got him killed when he went into traffic. That they basically no more traffic. Everyone just go on through, no more traffic. And also, I think the hilarious. Again, we've done the dark version of this on Rick and Morty. Here we did the light version of it. Hey, it's your son. He's alive again. Have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the teens. Okay, let's see here. The kids here. So essentially, Jesse here is trying to make the point. We don't have to shrink everybody. Maybe we can make an effort to be more tolerant and you can be nicer to people, and vice versa. You be nice to our enemies. And she tries to prove this by taking away the shrink ray and kind of brain chipping everybody. It's like, hey, let's have them be all nice and pleasant to demonstrate the point, which leads to a horrific sequence in the Heil hit bar.
Dragon, the only line in this whole storyline that made me laugh was the whole, like, this is just like the movie Green Room.
Yep.
And yeah, it is just like the movie Green Room. That's a great underrated horror movie, by the way. It was one of Anton Yelchin's last movies.
Poor Yelchin, man.
I know.
Anyway,
also, Patrick Stewart is the main neo-Nazi villain in that movie, so if you want to change a pace from Patrick Stewart, that's the movie to look to.
In Green Room?
Yes, Green Room.
Huh. Right. Of course, but
it's an intense movie, Dragon. I don't know if it's your speed, but
heck no! I'm not going to watch that, Tiki. It's not my speed
right,
at all.
Right.
No, it's nice to know that Patrick Stewart is in that, though. Anyway.
Yeah, maybe look up a clip or two of Patrick Stewart.
Sure.
You know.
Anyway, so again, this is like the first glimpse we get the whole bounty hunter thing, where he has this bounty hunter suit that basically went in danger. I love it. It's like you know what's gonna, and you think, oh god, they're goners, and this is like a complete shocker here. Like, oh god, they're gonna be goners or something's gonna happen. It's like, well, you know what's gonna happen now? Yes, I know. And of course, the suit kills everyone in the room. It's just quite hysterical.
And I love how apologetic he is. It's just like, oh god, I'm sorry, it's not me, it's the suit. Oh god, I don't mean to do this.
It really, I mean, to be fair, that's all on them because they kept coming at him. They're like morons. They just that's on them.
Right.
Let's be honest, they kind of deserve to die. One, hate mongers. Two, primarily, they had no sense at all. It's like they kept coming at the guys, killing everyone in the room. Like, when are we ever going to subvert that trope? That's my question. Also, I love the solution to our guys' problems here after the Nano Man. Again, hopefully Nano Man's come back in season 2 because he got away, and he's still a Nano Man.
Yes.
But I love the $50
There's a lot
fine.
of open-ended stuff in season 2 that I'm looking forward to.
The $50 fine solution just cracks me up because I'm going to paint it more silver. I'm like, well, what are we going to do then? Well, it's the $50 fine. I'll eat the fine. And the neighbors won't like us.
It all just boils down to the popularity. I love how mundane that's the thing, Dragon. That's the fun part of it. That's one of the fun, like, reoccurring things of this show is kind of like, going out of your way in like the extreme sci-fi situations to solve relatively mundane kind of sitcom premises.
Yes.
All right.
So then, anyways, of course, big connecting point here. The C story actually becomes a C story, not just a one-off ending gag here, where now they're back to the shrink ray after the whole Heil Hitbar situation, and we start to shrink adults again. The adult we shrink is Tim the Red Shirt.
Oh boy.
Tim the Red Shirt, he basically is put into the wall, and we reveal, I love this. This is my favorite thing about this whole wall thing. So Tim is put into the wasteland. Basically, we learned the wall is actually kind of this wasteland dystopia, very Mad Max Fury Road-esque. And Mad Max, just Mad Max in general, I guess, less Fury. Anyway, point being, I love we see the janitor from the previous episode, the really smart, like, hey, you kids can't do that guy. Every time we check into the wall at the start of the story,
yes,
we start with like the perspective of a different character. So we start with janitor being put in the wall to now Tim's being put in the wall, and the next we're going to have a new POV character with Sherry.
Yeah, and then every time we check in on the wall, the characters have kind of evolved in some way as well.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's great about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So
3.
Let's move on to episode 3, the Quantum Ring.
This is a fun one.
Corvo becomes the magician.
All you really need,
Yeah, I know, right? It's simple. It's simple.
Oh god! So there's a Corvo here.
I mean, once again, it's just kind of like just like Rick voice getting invested into really mundane bullshit. That's really what it boils down to.
But here's the difference, though. Here's the difference. Rick would do it just to spite somebody. Where Corvo here, he has this beautiful. These are the moments that make me love this.
Genuine passion for it.
These are the moments that make me love this character. Okay, the Corvo here, he has this moment of you see scoffing at, because essentially what he wants to do, he wants to bomb the family, but really get him into ship repair so he can get the thing off faster by holding these Taco Tuesdays that trap him into talking about ship repair. And he goes for the gimmick of magic. So they all want to go see this magician. Anyway, so he has this realization. This is what I love. He says, he says, oh yeah, I could do this. And he realizes, I could do this. When he says that, it's like he cares about something. That's what's great. It's the whole he falls in love with it versus Rick just mastering out of spite, and you kind of get stuck with it until it bores him. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Wall. You want to talk Wall, or you want to keep going with the magic thing?
Let's keep going with the magic thing and circle back to the Wall.
Right. Okay, let's see. So yeah, I like that we're achieving magic through the sci-fi, which kind of makes sense, and again would kind of elevate him to kind of monolithic status of magic there. If he can achieve if he can achieve all of this. And my favorite joke in this whole episode is.
Oh, can I guess?
You can guess. Go on.
Is it the "Now You See Me" gag?
That's good, but that wasn't my favorite. I like
Okay,
that.
can I just say I really like the bit where we hear like the dialogue, the really basic dialogue from the movie where it's like Woody Harrelson's just like, we started out as a misfit band of magicians, but we became a family.
See, for me,
I'm sorry. What's your favorite gag? Yeah,
my favorite gag is basically when he's always chastising the family when he's basically moving on, basically separating himself from when he's going to Vegas and everything. He says, "You're like my first wife in the biopic."
Oh yeah, right. That was.
I thought that joke was so smart because he's right. There is always like a first wife in the biopic who doesn't get it. You leave behind. That does happen. So basically, the whole episode is kind of built around the rise and fall, the fame rise and fall story via the burn victim trash magician.
Mm-hmm. Can I just say I really love the bit. I forget where it comes from, but it's the whole it's Houdini, David Copperfield, and then the Chris Angel type magician.
Yeah.
I forget what the name is. And then it's like, oh, David Copperfield's personality got absorbed by the other two.
Well, no, he got eaten. He was eaten by David Copperfield. Was eaten by the two.
Yeah. That made me laugh just because, David Copperfield, I mean, God bless him. He doesn't have much of a stage presence.
I think it's kind of. I'd like to think instead of humbleness, though, it's like I don't really need a stage.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like he pulls off some amazing feats. Don't get me wrong, but he's not showy. Like you said, he's a humble guy.
I saw one of his specials on Netflix once, where essentially he's going around the celebrities. Like we started off with Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul. So he went by and just did a little magic. He's like wants to meet people and do a little magic and go on his merry way. That's David Copperfield for. He wants to do a little trick and go on his way. That's all he wants to do.
Believe it or not, Dragon, David Copperfield has become kind of like a big running gag in podcast The Ride. Like they've grown a big appreciation for David Copperfield. I won't tell you how. It's convoluted, but it's fun. Anyways.
All right. So let's see.
Go ahead.
Well, also we have like some fun little magic cameos here. I wonder if this cameo is out of spite or not. That's what I really want to know. So we have, I call them the magician Illuminati. Not really an Illuminati, but essentially the group of magicians that want the trash magician to stop doing this undoable trick. Because if he does it, then they're all screwed in the industry. Which is a really great ripple effect idea, by the way. Like if he achieves this trick, we're all out of the job. But you'll notice we have Penn and Teller in the bunch. And,
oh my God,
they're really kind of deformed looking, and they don't speak. And of course, Teller, that's no surprise. But Penn not speaking suggests to me maybe Penn Jillette said no, and that was them kind of sticking it to him. I don't know. I don't know.
I just anytime you see Penn and Teller in animated form, it's a lot of fun.
It is, especially Futurama. They did that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Teller's died. Teller died a number of years ago, like 15 minutes ago, maybe. I don't know. Anyway.
And then The Simpsons did that thing where it's like, oh, he's not the first Teller. You don't want to know what I did to the first Teller.
God. All right.
Anyways.
All right, so the big magic trick is the Stargate black hole trick thing here. And what I love most about it, I love the undoing. I love how if I go into this thing wrong, a number of bad things could happen to me. I could be atomized. I could I could destabilize time, all that sort of stuff. And I love that when he just like tripped. It wasn't even like the whole thing with the murder attempt on his life or anything. He just tripped into the thing. And when he did, he just went around like a whirlpool. That's what cracks me up. Is like he didn't get atomized like the first guy. Just went. It's like he got caught in a giant whirlpool. He's like, no. It just seemed like, it's gonna hurt him a little bit. It's not gonna kill him. Just seems really. Anyway, of course, ultimately faked his death. Now you see me style. Now you see me.
Oh God.
And a little bit of prestige. Right. They got a little bit of the prestige in there with the novel, though, not the movie. The novel.
And then I don't really think there's much with the kids outside of Jesse kind of sniffing out the conspiracy, right?
Well, Yumulak, he killed Penn and Teller, so that was kind of all he did.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. The kids don't really have a subplot to themselves.
So no, they're just being kind of amazing, and they're kind of representative of the family unit within the story. And again, they dedicated the majority of the time to the other thing we should talk about, the wall.
Oh boy. Okay. So yes. Yeah, Dragon set up this character that we meet.
Okay, so we meet Sherry. Sherry was like, God, I forget the name, but it was like an S or something. The people like the fancy
Benihana.
Benihana, yeah, the Benihana. I forget what that title is. That inside. The point is that she's from Benihana. One of the
Bitch.
Sure. So, point being, we have Sherry here, portrayed by the always wonderful, and I can never sing this lady's praises enough, Christina Hendricks, man. Wonderful. One of the best parts of Mad Men. I love Christina Hendricks. On Good Girls now. Excellent show. Anyway, Christina Hendricks plays Sherry, and essentially she is now our POV character, kind of in Tim's shoes from last time we checked in on the wall. And basically, Tim is walking her through the status quo of the wall. And essentially, the way of kind of saying is it's kind of like it's kind of the description they have is that it's like Escape from New York. It's very much like Escape from New York. I'm sure you can probably see the parallels if you look at Escape from New York, and it's pretty much. But that line is assumingly they're basing the whole thing off Escape from New York. If I'm a betting man, but it feels a lot like Snowpiercer meets The Borrowers. That's my analogy. It's Snowpiercer meets The Borrowers. You know, they're trying to go up to the.
Well, it's
the
definitely Snowpiercer in terms of the different levels. Sure.
And The Borrowers in terms of scale and reusing all like the little thrown away things. You know, it's. Everyone's forgotten about The Borrowers.
Oh God. Okay. Is this the episode where we get the what Claude's talking about, the Paddington Mickey Mouse thing?
That is
because we probably shouldn't we probably shouldn't skip over that.
I'm pretty sure that's later, Tiki, but I don't know if I want to bring it up now. I know that's later.
No. I don't want to. I want to bring it up when the episode hits. Just make sure we didn't skip over it.
We won't miss it. So that's the thing. Okay. So basically, we establish the levels, or it's kind of like a class system with the levels. The higher up you go, the more upscale you are, or the engine room's kind of Snowpiercer terms, if you will. And there's like a religion developed towards Jessie, who's like the lady who gives him all the candy. And this is where things get interesting. We have the horrifying illogical logic factored into this world, where and this idea I found so unsettling that because they're fed candy, especially if anyone who has diabetes or now at risk of developing diabetes, they're only going to be able to eat candy. It's horrifying.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like also it's horrifying because it's like the child's the innocence of a child gone wrong. You know what I mean?
It is. And that's the thing. You think it's gonna be like a one-off guy. You're like, oh, look, all these people in there. It's gonna be like a little horrifying check-in maybe now and again, but it's a check-in, all right. But it's a big check-in. It's like a check-off check-in, man.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Alfred Molina playing the Duke. Oh my goodness, you know me. I love
Alfred Molina. Yeah, he steals the show for sure.
Yeah. Oh man, Molina's just such a good actor, man. He's never dropped the ball in anything. I've seen him in some bad movies, but he hasn't dropped the ball. I literally saw the man put in a giant pink tutu, and yet he was still good. Anyway.
God.
Anyway.
All right. Okay, so okay, moving on.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off, but otherwise we're
good. No. You're good. Next episode, the Booster Manifold. This was one of my favorites.
So this was the big payoff to the goobering, the gooblering. I keep forgetting the L. The gooblering here, which essentially is much again. Just Justin Roiland can't help himself, and this always bugs me. I mean, here it's more like I feel so bad for the animators have to go through this every time in the episode, but it's like Rick with his burps and the green gunk in his mouth. Here we have our guys when they get stressed out, they begin to goobler. The Goobler essentially is
I like this concept, though. I think it's a good
concept. It is a good concept. I'm just saying, I feel so bad for the animators have to draw all these little Gooblers every time they have like a stress thing. I mean, like the Rick thing.
You know what? To me, it's definitely a nice visual that puts more emphasis into the look of the show, and I like it. I see the effort that went into it.
I like that had more of a plot reason than just kind of a runner we have for no reason here. Where in this case, if you Goobler too much, basically if you hit like 100,000 Gooblers, a red one will appear.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good episode, by the way. I meant to mention that before we got the whole Goobler thing, but it's a really good episode. So I love I love this. I love what sets off the Goobler thing. I love what gives us the Red Goo Blur. One of my favorite rants, and I get the most angry rant that Justin Roiland has this season is about the whole Diet Dr. Pepper thing. I allow myself one Diet Dr. Pepper a day.
Oh God.
And now I'm gonna have little excuse because basically he's doing like Terry's doing like a trendy thing where he's putting his jeans in the freezer for some reason, and it's getting all the ice cubes, and he just wants ice cubes in his Dr. Pepper, and it's just his whole day's ruined, and just basically he gets so stressed out he burrs a Red Goo Blur, which essentially is trying to kill Corvo. That ain't good.
And this is I love this red Goo Blur. You know, it's so fun. Just the look of it, just how vindictive it is. Kind of has like a Cape Fear vibe almost. You know, The Simpsons Cape Fear, the classic Sideshow Bob episode.
Cape Fear, but a dope. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't have much to add. It's just a lot of fun seeing them kind of just be overly paranoid. And then, what do you think of the resolution to the episode, Dragon? The big he's still out there.
Well, for starters, I love that this is all framed around a really mundane thing, like they're just trying to buy a jet ski. I just love that Terry's just trying to treat himself here. Let's get a jet ski, man. Let's do it. It's really low stakes, and unfortunately, that poor jet ski. It's less the jet ski guy, and more importantly, the jet ski they have to use to cover up a murder.
Right.
And of course, we have a lot of fun gags and all this when they're basically going with all the security measures to keep the Red Goo Blur out. Like they're sealing up all the hidden doors that Terry has, including the Wetzel's pretzels, which. Oh, the Wetzel's pretzels.
Oh my god! I'm sure that you got as much of a kick out of Terry being, or I'm sorry, out of Corvo being just very, very stressed out about financial situations.
Yeah. A startup, Terry.
It's
no one's
not
ever
financially lucrative.
Oh, God,
There's no foot traffic.
Of course, like there's gonna be free pretzel days coming up. Free pretzel. Oh god, that's just really funny. Let's see. Okay. But yes, the resolution. The resolution here. But yeah, I love the idea of Terry knowing and just being stressed now. He's the one who's stressed out now. It's probably the way it's going to happen in season 2. Now Terry's going to have like a Goo Blur of his own. All his stress of keeping the secret from the first Goo Blur, and it's going to be a mess. That's my prediction. But yeah, I do like the guilt that's on Terry. It's a fun gag at the end. So like, we'll see where it goes.
All right.
My favorite thing of the episode, though, I love the healing weapons so much. I love the idea of the healing weapons. Where basically the kids, the whole kids subplot here that builds. I love that their stories connect. By this is what I'm talking about. Even if I don't agree with some of the Rick and Morty plots or the solar opposite plots. I do like a good crossover when it happens within the two stories. And here we have it in spades, where the kids essentially are going through like a puberty story here, where it's not actually puberty, but they think it is. And the idea they have a little flower.
No, it's like a twist on the sitcom trope, Dragon.
Yeah, twist on the old sitcom trope. And I love the tattling gag, by the way, which is also really funny. This whole thing of the horrific near-death experiences that Yumulak goes through, and he's still going to tattle, and he gets hit by an ambulance, and the whole thing starts off. Again, so anyways, the point being, they go to a party and have these pheromones they spurt out. It makes people like it's kind of like an ecstasy pheromone. People fall in love and they're all touchy feely. It's pretty much ecstasy. Oh. And when the two mix, however, it causes everyone to just go stir crazy and turn into rage zombies essentially. And what I love is we're using these healing weapons on them, so it's as gory as it is, but again, gory that is instantly healed, which is just wonderfully animated. It's just such a great idea, and they're all on the same page. It's such a cool scene. It's like awesome.
Okay, really, I mean, it is cool, but I'm kind of surprised that you didn't get the kind of like the overly gory vibes, because I will admit, Dragon, it didn't go over the line for me, but it's probably the closest to the line that we got, honestly.
But Tiki, they healed though. That's the thing. They healed.
Yeah, that's true, but I'm just saying, in the moment, Dragon, you know what really got me, Dragon? What really got me about the gore was the fact that they were basically, like, self-mutilizing each other, you know? Like, a lot of it was, like, self-harm. And I gotta tell you, I have a thing with self-harm, you know? It's like, I can handle as much gore as you can throw at me, but, you know, like that... Like, I will never watch that wrist-cutting scene in 13 Reasons Why again. I saw it once, and it's never again, you know? But stuff like that really gets under my skin for some reason.
True, but again, had they not bought it back with the healing, I would have been on your side.
No, you're right. They do bring it back, by all means. Okay.
Also, the Forever 21 gag's also really funny. The whole that Corvo's worst nightmare, his most stressful environment, is a Forever 21.
Oh my god, yes.
Halloween warehouse, like werewolf, get it? Warehouse. And you know what's funny? I don't really get this. That apparently I guess the season takes place during October because it seems like Halloween's every day in this in this show. Because again, like she's always dumping the buckets
we
of
end
candy.
at Christmas.
Wait, what?
Yeah, episode 7 takes place around Christmas time.
Are you sure?
I'm sure because there's some references to it in the background.
Huh. Oh, yeah. I think you're right. I guess you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, regardless, the point being, this opening section seems to be really in Halloween for a lot of this, and then we go to summer, which doesn't really make sense. But then again, maybe like a whole year, another year passes by. I don't know.
Well, it's sitcom logic, Dragon. Sitcom logic.
The point being, it's like we're always the point being. I like this Halloween, so whether it be seasonal or non-seasonal, it's quite funny. Okay.
All
right.
All right. Episode 5, the Levotic Reactor.
Yes. Let's see. Okay, so this is the double school plot here. Basically, we have the two paralleling school plots with the adults and the kids. So the siblings are bonding in summer school, and they're learning from each other. It's like not a lot. They're kind of bonding, and there's too stupid to read this.
I wasn't crazy about this episode, Dragon. I'm just gonna say it. I don't know, for some reason, like these sort of like college plots, like I've said this before, Dragon. I'm not into college plots. They're
very anti-collegial when it comes to plotting.
I don't get into it, Dragon. It's just not my thing. I don't know. It's the reason why I can never get into Monsters University. I acknowledge that Monsters University is a good film with good character development, good animation, a decent villain, but I don't know. It's just the setting. Anyways.
I'll go as far as to say this one compared to all the other ones does not have a whole lot going on. So I'll give you that. No problem.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say there's like a fun elements to the episode though with the ice lava. The ice lava is pretty cool.
The ice lava was cool. Yeah, I'll give you that.
It powers the ship, and I love the horrific idea that again it's like just like this icy gel, and of course when it encases you, it's lava on the inside, which just sounds like the most horrific. And of course when it unfreezes, it goes back. It's like then they turn to red dust, and now they're healed, kind of. They're reconstituted. Their DNA is reconstituted, and they're reborn as babies. Though that's horrific. They're just gonna have to go through life again as babies.
Well, hey, look at it this way. They get a second chance.
I'm saying it's... Also, we have someone new in the comments.
We start anew.
We have NoHoon100.
Oh, hey. How you doing?
And he's really grateful that we got the whole season all at once, which, yeah, I mean, Tiki, I don't know if you're aware of this. Hulu does not always do the whole season at once. I don't know if they're now
I'm aware of that. Yeah.
I don't know if they're now just getting into the habit of, like, forgetting the whole, like, weekly thing. Or if they're just, I don't know, maybe they've license up. Maybe
my guess is it depends show to show.
Yeah, probably. I know, like, when they have new episodes of ongoing shows, but Hulu specific shows, it looks like now they're going with the whole, like, let's put it all out there.
Uh-huh. All right.
Let's see. Okay, so Corvo, I take it you weren't crazy about the whole smart and dumb Rays plot element.
I actually enjoyed Dumb Corvo quite a bit. I thought that was pretty fun. It's kind of like another layer to Justin Roiland's Rick voice, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much like it's like a school buddy story gone awry. I love Terry calling him out. I'm like, well, wait a minute, you were just using a smart ray on me a couple of minutes ago. How is that not a shortcut?
Right.
We have like the Wedding Crashers gag too, where basically it's like the montage like at the start of Wedding Crashers, where you're throwing the girls on the bed, and of course, like, thank goodness we have this mattress with the fancy Tempur-Pedic springs. Essentially, the springs so those bouncing all around you and all this. I will. Okay, one other thing I do have to say, in the grand scheme of the season, one thing we do really smartly in this episode is through the odd, very physical relationship of the teacher and the principal. Through that relationship, but we do have as an elegant solution to the whole, like, oh man, the school's really prejudiced against these our alien protagonists here, and of course, like, well, they were caught in flagranta, so give them all ways through the season. We don't have to worry about this plot line anymore, which is pretty good.
That was nice. That was smart writing. It was like, all right, you know what? This plot line's not really going anywhere. I mean, on a surface level, I kind of like what they're saying. It's a pretty smart, political allegory, but we don't need to hammer it home. We're done with it. You get the point. It's a pretty on the nose metaphor. We can move on to other things.
Okay, brief thing with the wall. Big, we have the big moment with the Duke here. The Duke punishes Tim with the boo-hoo hole.
Oh my God, yeah, the boo-hoo hole. God, there's so many great things I love about the wall, Dragon. Just how it's all constructed, all the individual elements of it, the different layers. Oh man, such a good story arc.
Poor Sherry's just knocked down the boo-hoo hole just to torture Tim. That's what I'm saying. I love how sadistic Alfred Molina is playing the Duke, because he was so pleasant initially. Then just that turn of like killing the poor kid trying to get insulin for his father, and then that father's getting his revenge here. Like the Duke may have pulled the trigger, but you roped him into all this. Oh God, it's horrific what happens to him.
That's what I'm saying, Dragon. I love how it's like this whole storyline with the wall genuinely has a whole cast of characters that you get invested in, and it's really smart and efficient writing in a very limited amount of screen time.
Yeah. All right, that brings us to 6.
All right, episode 6.
This was a really good one.
The Patricia device. This was a very fun one.
Love the Patricia device. Oh God, this.
That fucking nerd, that fucking man cave. I'm sorry, I almost called it a nerd cave because that's what I call my cave. That fucking man cave. I hate that fucking man cave.
I love the man cave, man. I don't know why. So, I've seen the best man caves, of course, be turned in the bat caves, mind you, but still, the man cave is still like a real Shangri-La within the home.
You know what the best man cave I've ever seen on film is, Dragon? I Love You, Man.
Yes.
That was a really good one.
As I was saying, the man cave is something I think we all aspire to, but so rarely can we make it a reality. So, or the Mank-ave, as they put it, this weird spelling, the Mank-ave. Of course, we have the weird opening where, like Terry's driving in a fuzz here. We don't have a nose. We don't have noses.
Oh, that was fun. That was fun. That was a little, a nice little bit of off-brand humor there.
All right, folks. Let's get down to brass tacks. Let's get down to the tiggle bitties of it all, if you will. Man caves. This is a fun analysis of relationships. This episode. That's kind of the way I read it here. I love how Terry and Corvo, they have very different needs from the Patricia bot here. They, one of them gets the wife side of things, one gets the mom side of things.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that Terry. He loves being coddled by the mommy bot. I love the whole the cookie dough breastfeeding gag. It's quite hilarious.
God.
It's just so ridiculous. Anyway, Corvo, of course, Corvo's getting getting a little turned on by the kind of the domineering personality of kind of the complaining wife, and basically the whole analysis of the relationship of it all is that we want things. Basically, we enjoy things based on jealousy and nagging of other people. The fact that other people don't like what we're doing, we're seeking some sort of pleasure from it. That's kind of what we're getting at with all this, with the whole man cave and all. Basically, the man cave's no fun if you just let people in. Otherwise, it's not exclusive. We need the exclusivity, or else it's worthless.
Right.
Yeah. But again, I love how Terry and Corvo, they're kind of getting the man cave. They're shaking things up. Let's let her in the man cave. We love her so much. Let's let her in the man cave, which of course causes her to go off the chain and go crazy. Absolutely crazy.
That's what I'm saying, Dragon. I just love the this is a fun, it's a mix of smart home and ex machina. There's a lot of fun sci-fi tropes we're playing.
Claudia is going to blow my mind here. I'm going to confirm this with Claudia here. Claude, tell me that's actual. That Wendy McLennan Covey is Patricia. Tell me that's true, sir.
Oh God.
Please tell me that's true, because if that's true, that is great. Big Goldberg's fan, of course. That's Beverly Goldberg, Tiki. Wendy McLennan Covey, if that's her.
Oh my God! Yeah. That's that would be perfect casting.
It would be, because I tried to nail down who voiced her. I couldn't find it because I can't really find a cast list that easily, and I kind of missed it in the credits.
I'd be
Anyway,
surprised if it wasn't her, Dragon. I don't know why he would just randomly throw out that casting there.
so basically combined all.
Unless he's pitching like a live action cast.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
Said her name in the credits.
Yes, victory. Thank you, Claudia. Yes. Oh man, I love this actress so much. Again, kind of our fun-loving kind of sitcom Norma Bates, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. She's like I lovingly call her the Diet Coke Vera Farmiga, but you know what? The best tasting Diet Coke.
Let's see. Of course, I love the whole TV mom amalgam theory. Which again, if they're going to get one day, maybe they didn't know it in advance when they got her. Perhaps like why didn't they just say Beverly Goldberg in there's a little bit? I don't know.
Well, I don't think that with all due respect to Beverly Goldberg, she's great. I love her, but I don't think she's really reached classic mother territory. I mean, she'll get there. I think in time, once I think the Goldbergs is going to be a show that ages very well, and then once that happens, she'll definitely reach the classic sitcom mom level. Yeah, but until then, Dragon.
That's a good point. Then. But also, it might also be like we need like a real nags, and we don't quite have a nag with Beverly Goldberg. Everyone loves Beverly Goldberg.
That's true. Yeah, exactly.
Again, the whole namesake. I keep thinking of the main one they led with was Deborah from Everybody Loves Raymond. Of course, Patricia Heaton not playing all the time the most flattering character of a wife, and that's where you're getting kind of like the angry man cave hating wife. That's definitely the different side.
Dragon, you better watch what you say about Everybody Loves Raymond.
Of course.
I'm just saying.
Anyways, of course, we have.
Sorry.
Claire from Modern Families. I think they mean Claire from Modern Family. Again, I keep wanting to watch that show, but for some reason, Hulu won't put the episodes from the first season on there. Anyway, let's see. So we have like Gilmore Girls and Marge Simpson, a little bit of Golden Girls in there. Sophia from the Golden Girls.
I like that Marge Simpson is literally just the hair.
Great design on
blue hair.
I love the design too. It's perfect design, and also the menacing design as well. It's great design work all around. This robot wife. I dig the robot wife, man. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Let's see. Okay, so the main I love. We just kind of wrote out Yumulek pretty much is doing a didgeridoo thing this whole time. Just like
yeah, that's fun. I like how he just kind of like comes back into the episode, like, hey guys, look what I've been doing this episode.
And Jesse has this gender politics B plot that is just I just love. This was genius the way they handled this. This whole this is the best we got of Jesse through the whole season. I felt where Jesse's basically. I just love this very surprisingly PC environment she finds herself in. She's supposed to upset the patriarchy by doing something, doing something for women's rights and women's lib and all that sort of stuff. And basically, the PC environment thwarts her at every turn. Like, hey, you want to join the football team? By all means. Hey, you want to do a lacrosse team? Yeah, come on by. It's like she has to start her own her men's only group. It's just hilarious. And of course, the way things cross over during the big Dave and Buster's climax and. Sticky hands, man. How can you not love the sticky hands used to get that wedding ring off?
Exactly.
Okay.
Dragon Claude is really chomping at the bits for us to get to the Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse stuff. Is that next? Coming up?
It is
next episode. Wait, no, it has to be this. It has to be this episode, right? Because that's episode 7 is the big one. So
okay.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. Claude, I'm sorry, I don't really have much to add. I thought it was really honestly kind of like a weird subplot, to tell you the truth. What do you think, Dragon? I didn't really get what they were going for. I didn't really understand what was supposed to be happening, to tell you the truth.
Well, I want to say it was, as we saw earlier with the whole candy machine plot, we saw, the pupa is just going through, he's like killing crows and you cutting off legs and cloning legs, just these extraneous measures to accomplish a simple goal. And I think it was kind of like a pupa's day out sort of thing, where he just kind of got caught up in a little situation.
No, I understand the pupa's day out of it all. What I don't understand is what the hell we're up with the. Are they literally supposed to be clones?
I don't know. I just thought it was animals dressed up like Disney characters. And
that's what I thought too. That's why I don't really understand what's going on.
I just thought we need animals adorable as possible, so the pupil would save him and like put him on the train at the end. Just have a little adorable little guy. I thought it was like all like how can make it as adorable as possible for this little pupil character? That's what I read it as.
I was very confused. Claude, if you could shine a light on exactly what was going on in that whole subplot, believe me, I'd like to know, because that was honestly one of the things in the whole season that kind of left me the most perplexed. Like, what was with the random Paddington and realistic Donald Duck?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see. Oh, there was a lot I want to address earlier because it was mentioned a little earlier in the comments. I love the whole. We don't talk too much about like kind of the alien biology of these guys, but in the whole plant episode, the whole plants on top of their heads, the idea is that their whole species they do derive from like they're like plant-based aliens that turn into trees when they die. I just want to get that in there somewhere. Right. Okay, let's see. That is so again. Also, Patricia, she could come back. She's buried, buried in the yard, in a little shipping container with the husband she can nag.
I like how we have a lot of kind of like, yeah. I like how we have these as loose ends. These we've got of course we've got Tim that we'll talk about. I'm excited to get to Tim, but we've also got the red I'm sorry, again, the red thing.
Oh yeah, you mean yes, the red Gloober.
I'm already blanking on the name. Yeah,
Goobler, the Red Goo Blur.
Goo Blur, that's it, Red Goo Blur. Yeah. So there are a lot of things that are kind of dangling out in storyland that we can see potentially got into in season 2.
Yeah.
All right, that was a very poorly constructed sentence. I'm sorry.
All right. So I guess that brings us to episode 7. The big one.
Boy.
There's a lot to love.
This is yeah. First of all, the title, Terry and Corvo Steal a Bear. It's very Rick Lantis mix-up, Dragon.
It is, and they go so genius about it. If you look in the background, that story is going on.
That's funny. It is. It is.
Like in the background, it's like the set dressing from the wall's perspective. It's like, hey, look at the kind of our weird godlike creatures. They're going to the zoo, and by the end they're going to the aquarium. Apparently, either the bear thing worked out or it didn't. They're going to the aquarium next. Essentially, that's the only inklings I can get of that story that's going on in the background. Let's see. So again, just an ingenious switch with those plots in that episode. Of course, I love how cinematic the opening is, where you start off with the. We're not even doing like.
Oh yeah. Dragon, it legitimately feels like a short film with that opening. It really does. I mean, we've got arcs. We've got sweeping arcs, man.
Yeah, we do. And again, this is where we really fully dive into the whole Borrowers meets the Snowpiercer dynamic here. This is where, we have like the friendship between the Steven and Molly the mouse, who's basically like a cow with the milk and everything, and of course, like ultimately the tragic death of said kind of mouse cow, or she drowns in the flooding sequence.
It got me. It genuinely got me, Dragon. It's like because of course one of the first things that you see in this wall is the giant rat that attacks them, right? So in order, like the way that they transition from that to Molly, being a directly characterized, just adorable, lovable mouse. It was great writing. It really was.
Yeah.
All right.
So of course I love this one. Talking about like the cinema of the storytelling here. We have Tim just as the kind of the beaten resistance leader, as it were, as him being tortured and like imprisoned for so long, and we get to see like him, his shirt's been like ripped off and restitched together as he's been like whipped with like essentially like a red vine or something, like some sort of licorice or like the red stuff. Anyway. The point is, Tim's being tortured around the clock, and he writes his memoirs that essentially get out into the public, inspired by the form of resistance. And of course, that resistance is set in a replica of the Seinfeld set, which is hilarious to me.
Mm.
And we have a Kramer-like neighbor, which is priceless. Like, get here, buddy. God, it's fantastic.
Alfred Molina is on fire in this episode, Dragon. He is very. He's almost kind of like Donald Sutherland in the Hunger Games, which is appropriate, because it is pretty dystopian. He's kind of got that air of like, I'm looking out for you people, but if you slit my throat, I'll slit your throat.
I also love he brings the comedy to it as well, where not only is he menacing, but he has this really hilarious mundane conversation with his men. We're saying, guys, this is all bad news. People are gonna sour up. You give me better news than this.
Right.
You need the cotton from the underwear. It's like what kind of news is that? Give me something here. I just love
that. All right. I don't know where else to get to because I'm excited to get to the Switch.
The whole tale is just it's quite an inspiring tale of rebellion on a mundane scale. We have the flooding. We have this moral climax after this almost Odessa stairwell sequence, if you will. It's kind of like an Odessa steps in reverse. I don't know. We're lighting things on fire. We're doing all this stuff. Little mundane tale. Anyway, so yes, big.
I like the progressive. I like how progressive we get with the episode where the bleaker things get for our heroes, the more of a fire that gets lit underneath them to do something. You know what I mean?
Yes, and again, it's we're getting closer to the engine room in Snowpiercer. The way this goes on, they keep on pressing through after losing people along the way and getting the system to bend towards their will, with the nun being the equivalent of the school teacher in Snowpiercer, all that sort of stuff. And essentially, we have a little bit of a romance in there between Tim and Sherry. And by the way, I love the growth on these really random characters. That's the best thing about it, is all these random thrown together characters. Tim was just the guy in a red shirt, and look how far he's come.
They literally characterized a red shirt dragon, and they did it so well.
So speaking of characterization,
easily the biggest feat of the episode, I think, or the whole season, I think, is just Tim's characterization.
Speaking of which, so Tim, the big moral climax here, as I like to call it. Tim goes into
so great. This is such a great dystopian sci-fi twist, Dragon.
Reveal the Duke has had a way out the whole time, which is how he smuggled in the goods, and he's leaving. I love this moment. It's such a beautiful moment. Where the Duke is propelling himself down with dental floss, and he looks up. The two of them exchange a look between Tim and the Duke. And that look conveys so much of you're going to feel the burden of power, and then he goes. It's yes, that's Mullane. Mullane doesn't even have to say anything because he's built up so much credibility with that character. So basically, Tim and Sherry, they kind of exposit what's going on here. Tim's kind of processing it. Sherry's expositing it here. There's an opening to the outside world. He could have left any time. We all could have just stormed the room here, and we could have just left any time. So Tim makes an announcement, Tiki. What happens?
Well, Tim basically announces that that the Duke is dead, which of course untrue. And then bam, stabs, betrayal.
A Benihana betrayal. He stabs poor Sherry.
Right. And man, Dragon, this is definitely a shocker.
It is, and basically, of course, the age-old moral being power corrupts absolutely. He's in the room, and again, pretty much like Snowpiercer, you're offered a choice at the end. Do you want to keep the status quo going? What do you want here? And basically, it's a question. Here's I don't view Tim fully as the bad guy in the scene. He's doing something horrible, mind you. He is, but. Tim is making a call here that is a defensible position. It's not a great defensible position, but it's a defensible position to some extent, where he's we either continue going on in our scaled world, or we go back to what was once familiar, now would be entirely an unknown. Just going into our old familiar world where we have no way of legitimately I don't even know if they have an unshrinking ray, to be honest. We have no idea if they can even unshrink people.
Oh, we have no idea about that. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So the point being, they're boned either way. They might as well just kind of keep things going in this vaguely familiar thing. So Tim is making a judgment call. And again, you could always make the argument that power is corrupting him, just him knowing that I could have all the power like this guy had. And he did stab poor Sherry, which is not a nice thing to do. He didn't really talk it over with her. He just, So it's again, it's kind of he's going for and he also, to Tim's benefit here, he's championing a noble leadership. He's trying to say, hey, look, I'm not the guy, I'm not the king of the place here. I don't run the place. I'm just the guy. within the wall. I'm just the guy in the wall. We're all like, he abolishes it. He forgives everyone. Like, guys, we're just going to move on. He names the day and share his name because he doesn't feel bad about it. So he gets leadership at the cost of the truth. I will not tell them the truth about what happened here. You got to keep the status quo going. That's my thing to burden. That's my burden to bear. But it's the only way we're going to keep things spinning and not go crazy and not just like get ourselves killed in the outside world by like birds and everything that are going to go after us.
Yeah. All right. I can't wait to see what happens with that in season 2. I'm very much looking forward to it. I love the little tease of the wall that we get in the last episode, Dragon. I love how the wall doesn't really come back, but we get a little tease of it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's see. That leads us into episode 8. Retrace your stabilizer. By the way, I love how all the episodes are named after some kind of gadget or device or something, except for Terry and Corvo steal a bear.
I didn't notice that. You're right. Oh my god. That's great. That is great.
All right, nice. So episode 8. Once again, a very Dragon. When I realized that the season finale was going to be that Corvo lost his wallet, I was delighted. I genuinely was delighted. I was like, "Oh boy, that's the most mundane sitcom plot we could possibly do."
Oh god! So, folks, not only did Corvo lose his wallet, he forgot his wallet on the planet that blew up, which is.
So it's essentially like, what if Superman had to make a trip back in time to retrieve his wallet from Krypton?
Pretty much, or yeah, let's just go with that. I don't want to convolute it with the whole turn the world back thing. Yeah.
All right.
So basically, we have this scene. We have these cool time travel shoes, which really are awesome, by the way. It's these cool time travel shoes, which cost $11 billion a pair, and but he got the light up ones. So, but I want the cool light up ones.
I get the light up ones, Terry.
Yeah. Let's see. So basically, they're going back to Schlorp, I think it's called. They're going back to Schlorp.
Yeah.
To visit the place, they haven't seen it. Really, we haven't really gotten a good look at it outside of the opening. Of course, I think in this episode is when Terry calls out, "We haven't been to Schlorp since the opening credits."
Yeah, that's one of the few real fourth wall breaks we get. Like I said, Dragon, we kind of tiptoe around the fourth wall breaks more than we directly break the fourth wall.
So basically, 3 things are going on in this episode. So we're going back in time, and I love the effect of how we go back in time, where you're retracing your steps, you're running backwards. It's a great idea. So they're doing that with the whole wallet thing. Then we have the kids on the Pretendo deck. Of course, Pretendo deck, very holodeck inspired from Star Trek: Next Generation.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, basically,
I gotta say the Pretendo deck stuff actually kind of it tricked me, Dragon. It tricked me.
Yeah, me too.
Because I gotta say, with the Rick and Morty stuff, I genuinely thought they were pulling like a mini love potion with what happened with the end of that storyline.
I'm with you there too. They got me with it as well. So basically, we meet Funulac, which of course Yumulac is very jealous of. Just kind of basically someone calling him, "Yeah, you're not really a nice guy." So I'm nice-ish, He tries to go out of his way of proving that he is nice to his sister. I just love how he's just trying to be civil and just going through all this just to be civil. He just can't be moderately civil to his sister. He has to go through all this, and of course, when he does, it gets him killed.
Crazy. And then when he does get killed, Dragon, like I said, I was genuinely like, okay, we're going to get a swap where, the fun version of him is going to take over and slowly turn into him, but it's going to be a character thing throughout season 2. And the real version of him that we've grown to know and love throughout the season is dead.
Yep.
I genuinely thought that's where we were going with it.
A few gags and runners in this. I love the Hawkeye gag where it's...
Oh, yeah, right. It's so random but charming.
Yumulac's favorite Avenger is Hawkeye, and Hawkeye is a cool character, and plus it's like that.
He is. I respect that taste, Dragon. He's going for the underdog.
He is. Okay, let's see. So
I just love how it's like, my secret power's aiming. Ha!
Yeah. Let's see. So then there's of course. Oh, I love the runner about the trading the going to the witch for the PS4.
Oh yeah. Oh god. Right. Right.
Yeah, I tried to cook a pizza in your PS4. I just got that from a witch.
And then, of course, I really love circling back to this is circling back to an earlier episode, Dragon, but I love that gag in the Forever 21. Like, why do they have the marked up PS4s?
God. Let's see. Okay, let's see. So back to the time travel thing. Time travel thing. We
Yes.
have. So again, I love the the time stick and the property, the retoucher stuffalizer. I love the retoucher stuffalizer. It's basically it's like a yardstick with a spork tied to the end of it. I love that.
Oh god.
Like the logic that basically their time goes the way they time travel. They can't really interact with anything, or else they turn to slime, time slime. So they gotta they gotta touch things with this little time stick, and they need a license for it, which just cracks me up. I love that gets them into trouble by the end. So it's literally they knocked the wallet into the ship. It's so mundane and so silly. It's just so perfect. Just love that logic. That okay, well, how are you going to get it to the ship, and how are you going to? You can't pick it up. So okay, well, we'll knock it in the ship. Okay. Of course,
Right.
in changing this one little detail, we get Vanbo. Vanbo is played by Jason Mantzoukas. This guy's really funny. He's been on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's been on The Good Place. He's a fun actor. And I got to tell you, he won me over on hating this character. I do hate this character. I'm glad he's dead.
Yeah. And this is exactly the type of character, Dragon, that I was talking about. Where imagine if he would have been a part of the show from the get go, and we would have had to put up with him. Yeah, it's a Fox type character. That's what I'm saying. This show goes away from the Fox type characters. That's what I respect about this show.
Yep. Let's see. Okay, Pupa. Pupa is mind melding with people just to get a Harry Potter whistle.
Oh my god, dude! That mother sequence was pretty damn trippy, to say the least.
I love how the pupa sounds so much like Kelsey Grammer. I'm pretty sure that's not, but then again, I had no idea what the Wendy McLendon Covey. I'm pretty sure it's not Kelsey Grammer. It just sounds like him. Right, let's see. Okay. So basically, by the end, the whole cop out thing. Let's talk about the whole holodeck reveal.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about that, honestly.
Basically, I think there's acknowledging, yeah, we wrote ourselves into a corner. We had a lot of really big earth-shattering ideas, but guys, we got to return to the status quo here in some cases, and this one is just it's too weak. We unblew up the planet. That's going to cause. I saw the minute they said the planet wasn't blown up. I was thinking, okay, that's. Like I want less of this Vanbo guy because I don't like him already. I don't want him to be like a regular villain in the show. I don't want him to do like a thing.
Right. I'm with you. I don't want him to be a reoccurring thing. He's one of the dangling threads in season 2. I don't want.
That's what I'm saying. So they say this, and it's like, oh god, don't tell me you're going to go into season 2 with this guy around and the whole planet's not blown up or it's complicating everything. Thankfully, that didn't happen, but still a little bit like it was the holodeck when we've already said like a holodeck within a holodeck when things get a little too convoluted for me. That's the trick. That's the thing.
The one thing I'm disappointed that isn't real is killing off Yumulak. I think that would have been a really interesting twist.
That would have been interesting. I'll give you that. That's the one that could have been interesting, but still, I mean, if we're gonna undo the one thing, we got to undo the Yumulak thing. I don't think.
Yeah, sure.
Also, Game Boy cartridge gun. Love the Game Boy cartridge.
The Game Boy cartridge.
It's not even like a Game Boy. It's like a little legit Game Boy cartridge gun with the hole and looks just like it. Oh god, it's great.
Well, I think if you want to get uber specific here, Dragon, I'm pretty sure it's Game Boy Advance cartridges.
No. I looked at it. It's a Game Boy cartridge.
Oh, is it a Game Boy cartridge?
That's what I'm saying, because I thought the same thing, but no, it's a Game Boy cartridge, man. That's even better.
Game Boy Advance ones are like the little square ones. And
I know, yeah.
Game Boy ones are like the rectangles.
That's what I'm saying. This is a full-on like rectangle, man. It's like the bar sticking out of a little Game Boy Advance player. It's like it goes with the old elongated. Anyway, we're geeking out here, folks. Anyway.
Yeah.
Point being, the whole point of the whole cop
is like Nintendo news this morning that really made my day. By the way, Dragon.
So basically, the whole ending's kind of a commentary on the cliffhanger ending. Like no one likes it. Basically, we're kind of mocking the cliffhanger ending. And of course, the thing we do have as a big tease is the pupa for season 2. The pupa's turned purple and is evolving and is probably going to kill them all.
All right, so that pretty much wraps it up. Final thoughts, Dragon. Go ahead.
Also, as I mentioned this here while we're kind of resetting the ambiance of our title here, the flashback, we mentioned like the team up with the Simpsons and then playing the Monstars from Space Jam. I just want to get that.
Oh my god, dude, I want that as an episode.
Guys like flashing back on things that are too fantastical to ever happen. It's great. Okay.
It kind of reminded me of the series finale bit from Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Oh god, we're blowing all our good ideas, Morty.
God. Okay, final thoughts are me quite simple. This show's promise. Again, I think it improved once you get used to it. Once it kind of gets in there again, like Rick and Morty. First episode, little slow burn. Second episode, shows a lot more potential and kind of goes from there. If you look at it, like Lawnmower Dog was the one who won me over on Rick and Morty. The whole Nano Man is when okay, my ears are pricking up here. Like okay, Nano Man, I'm interested. I'm not hitting the channel button. And you get some fun characters. Basically, I think we agree on one thing: the kids could use some work going forward. And again, they show a little bit of promise towards the end. With Yumulak and that whole thing. So we'll see. Kids could use some work.
Jesse is the one that I really don't have a handle on yet.
Yeah, I agree. Again, she showed potential with the Patricia thing, but yeah. So point being, kids could use some work, but overall, fun show. Again, I think it could only go from here if they keep up the thing, and don't bring back any Vanbos ideally, but yeah.
Yeah, I think most of this show is a lot of fun. Like we said, the kids are probably the weakest element of it, but even then, it's not like an element like Vambo would have been, where it just dragged the whole thing down. There's nothing like that. There's no annoying, wacky neighbor with a gimmick or anything like that. It's just good writing, good storytelling, good character development, and honestly, the wall might be one of the best things I've seen on any Fox animated show in quite some time. I mean, goddamn, that's some pretty inventive storytelling right there. And the wall just in its own right just makes the season worth it. It makes me glad that I watched it. All right. So, folks, that'll do it for Solar Opposites. Thank you so much for watching. Big thanks to Claude for suggesting this. I had a lot of fun with it. We will be back on Monday night to cover the latest Rick and Morty. And in the meantime, see y'all later. Have a good night.
Look, I just dropped the pupa.
Guys, we have noses.